We begin with the headline that appeared above the fold on the front page of the New York Times today. Inside Ukraine, aid frees the 84-day clash of wills. The article chronicles the 84-day drama in meticulous and incriminating detail. Eric Lipton, Maggie Haberman, and Mark Mazzetti delivered this tour de force of reporting and writing for the New York Times. The article is based on, quote, interviews with dozens of current and former administration officials, congressional aides, and others, previously undisclosed emails and documents, and a close reading of thousands of pages of impeachment testimony. The story unfolds with the suspenseful rhythm of 7 Days in May, the classic Washington drama of the 1960s, written by Rod Serling, as it reveals new scenes in the 84-day drama from when Donald Trump first asked about the $400 million in aid to Ukraine to Donald Trump's final decision in September to release his hold on that aid to Ukraine because, as the very last line of the New York Times article says, quote, he got caught. People throughout the Trump administration worried that it was illegal to hold up the aid. Some of the permanent staff in the Office of Management and Budget and the Defense Department were almost certain that it was illegal, and they did everything that they possibly could to force the release of the aid. The people who were holding it back were all political appointees aligned with the president. They were all political and governmental incompetents who no other president would put in their positions, including White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney, who sent this email to a Trump appointee at the Office of Management and Budget saying, I'm just trying to tie up some loose ends. Did we ever find out about the money for Ukraine, whether we can hold it back? That was on June 27th. The person receiving that email was Robert Blair, who said that it would be possible to hold back the aid, but he added, expect Congress to become unhinged. Of course, Congress did not have to become unhinged to break up that scheme that the then Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton was then privately calling a drug deal. All Congress had to do to unravel the whole thing was to announce in a relatively low volume at the time that it was going to investigate the situation after Politico reported at the end of August that the assistance to Ukraine had been frozen. That is when Donald Trump got caught publicly, and not long after that, the aid was released. But Donald Trump had actually been caught a month before that, on August 12th. And the president and all the president's men knew that. Because it was August 12th when a whistleblower in the intelligence community filed a report describing in general terms what was going on. The president was holding up aid to Ukraine while asking Ukraine to conduct an investigation of Joe Biden. It took 30 days, but that whistleblower report ultimately forced the president to release the aid. In the meantime, a scene occurred in the Oval Office that will be central to the impeachment trial of the President of the United States. The Times describes the scene this way. On a sunny, late August day, National Security Advisor John Bolton, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo arrayed themselves around the resolute desk in the Oval Office to present a united front, the leaders of the President's national security team seeking to convince him face-to-face that freeing up the money for Ukraine was the right thing to do. One by one, they made their case. This is in America's interest, Mr. Bolton argued, according to one official briefed on the gathering. This defense relationship, we have gotten some really good benefits from it, Mr. Esper added, noting that most of the money was being spent on military equipment made in the United States. Ukraine is a corrupt country, the president said. We are pissing our money away. And the aid remained blocked. Tonight, it has obviously become impossible to have anything resembling a fair trial in the United States Senate in the impeachment trial of Donald Trump without the testimony of the president's men who were standing around the desk in the Oval Office pleading with the president to release military aid to an ally in the middle of combat. And the president refused once again to deliver that aid. We all know that Donald Trump is a very talkative man. In a meeting like that, he wasn't going to limit himself to just the 2 short sentences that New York Times reporters have managed to extract from their sources about that scene. What else did Donald Trump say in that room that day? And what else was said to him? The United States Senate has a sworn duty to find the answers to both of those questions.